What's up guys, Joe Holland here. I'm going to try out a new hook today on the market that looks pretty cool. I have no sponsorship, no affiliation with this company at all, but I got looking at these hooks and it's kind of a neat idea. It's called the Trapper Tackle, but this is the drop shot hook. This is the one that I was most interested in their lineup of hooks. When I first started fishing, I went with bigger hooks, giant hooks, as big as I could get on a bait, as strong a hook as I can get. And then when I started fishing a lot of smallies and catching a lot of big smallmouth on little tiny hooks, I realized how important it was to have less of a gap and make that hook sit tighter to the fish's mouth and give him less leverage to throw the hook. This is kind of an interesting design here where it has like almost like a little belly hook inside of the gap to kind of lock it in or trap the fish in. So I figured I'd give this a shot today and see how it holds up against some Maine smallmouth. But that's what it looks like right there. I'm out here in Maine and I'm fishing anywhere from about 20 to 40 foot deep. There's some giant smallmouth in this lake, and you know, I have no problem with the drop shot hook I've been throwing. I'm throwing the Gamakatsu, just a #1 drop shot, split shot hook. Love it. Have never had a problem with it. Great little hook. But when something new comes out on the market, I always like to test it out or give it an honest try and maybe give it a review for some of you guys who are thinking about trying it at home. So let's give this thing a shot. I'm going to leave myself about a 12-inch leader so I can kind of go from there. What I tie for a knot on my drop shot knot is just like a uni knot with a double loop there, so I'm actually going around 3 lines at once, and all you really have to do with this knot is go through twice. I go through 3 times. You can go through as many as 5 or 6 times, but it's just going to leave you a bigger knot. And 3 times like that is a super strong knot. So there it is right there. Pretty easy to tie. Leave myself a big double tag right there, so I'm going to trim that off. Left myself a pretty good loop coming out of the bottom of that hook. Don't quite need that much. I'm going to throw it on a Rains drop shot tungsten sinker right there and just thread it through that little keeper. Pull it tight. I'm throwing this on 8-pound with a braid with just the leader, the Invisix leader. And there's a Gambler Shaky Shad. So let's see how this new hook holds up to these big Maine smallmouth. better fish. Kind of locks them in with that hook. Right here. Oh, he's on it. There we go. Coming up. Little guy. Fired up now. Oh yeah. No, little guy. Little guy. Well, those aren't the droids we're looking for. Pretty nice smallmouth right on the edge there. We're going to come into them in about 4 or 5 seconds. Sitting down in about 30 foot of water. Right about there. Feels alright. Feels alright. We're gonna see. He's coming up. Oh yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Boy, they do some awesome jumps out of 30 foot of water. right. Not bad right there. Easy, folks. Beautiful, beautiful brown smallmouth, little green tint to him. Nice little chunker. Let's get him back down. Pegged pretty good. Well, we got him pretty good there. Pinned him again. Alright guys, all in all, you know, I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with this hook. It performed a little bit better than I was expecting. You know, I went into it kind of thinking it would be a great idea, and it turned out to be a great idea. I caught, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 smallmouth on it. You know, caught them deep, brought them up, a lot of them jumped, and I never lost one fish. None of them spit the hook. I think I had one come off when it hit the deck of the boat. It stuck them real well. You know, they ate it, they didn't shy away from it. It's pretty neat how it holds the bait in that little tiny belly of the hook too, and it performed really well, I gotta say. Now, one concern I had with it, or actually two concerns, the first one being just about every fish I caught, the hook came out pretty easy when I tried to get it out, which, you know, I landed all the fish, so I can't say anything there. But when I'm fishing like that Gamakatsu 1/0, I mean just number one, it's sometimes really hard to dig that out of their face. You know, it's bedded in there or in the upper mouth, and it's really dug in, whereas this one came out pretty easy every time. Now, I didn't catch anything big. I caught a lot of smallmouth, and you know, with the small ones, a lot of times they're harder to catch than or land than a bigger one. You know, the bigger one seems to always get the hook pretty good. So that, you know, that was the first concern, is that it just came out pretty easy in the boat, in my hand. I never had any hard time getting the hook out. So that worries me a little bit for longer fights or fish that are gonna jump a lot. But like I said, I never did lose a fish, so that was pretty cool. The other thing that kind of concerned me a little bit is I actually opened this hook up a little bit from how it first started. And I couldn't tell when I was on the water. I thought I might have just by looking at it, but it's just such a weird shaped hook anyway that I couldn't tell. I was like, oh, is that open or not? And what it did is it opened up on the, like the bigger, longer bend actually opened a little bit, but I still managed to catch probably 10 fish on it after it opened up. And I don't know if that happened when I hit a rock or if it happened fighting a fish, but it doesn't really matter because of that little, I guess the trapper section is what holds the fish and keeps them pegged. So the bait lock that they're talking about, or the fish lock section with that little square section, it worked even though the entire hook kind of opened up just a little bit, maybe 10 degrees it opened up, whereas if I was fishing a normal round bend hook, or like that Gamakatsu that I throw, I'd notice immediately that it's opened up, maybe it weakened, maybe it's too far open for what I'm trying to accomplish, and I would get rid of it right away, whereas this one still performed flawlessly after it opened up from the eye to the point. So that was pretty impressive, but a little bit of a concern for me. You know, I was throwing the number 2 from the trapper on this this hook here, and you know, the point on it's still very, very sharp after all those fish. It's like a needle point. It's got a really long needle point and a pretty decent sized barb. So, man, I wouldn't shy away from this hook all in all. You know, I really don't think I'd have a hard time throwing it in a tournament either. It's going to take me a lot to get off the hooks that I've been throwing. You know, I have no problem at all, like I stated at the beginning of this, with the gommies, and I have no affiliation with the trapper. But, man, I would never turn anyone away from this hook, and I'd never say anything really bad about it. It's a great little hook. As far as sizes go, the number 2 looks like a really good size for smallmouth. It's a little bit thinner and smaller hook. The number 1/0 is a great size for largemouth if you're looking for like a little bit of a smaller size hook for largemouth, but a little bit stronger too and a little bit bigger too. So those are the sizes if you're in the market for a smallmouth or a largemouth hook for drop shotting. And man, try them out. Let me know how you like them. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Share it with a friend. Don't be afraid to hit that like, thumbs up down there, and leave a comment. I answer every single comment that you guys put on there. So thanks again, guys.